More cross-examination is expected when court gets back into session today.
Our chief legal analyst, Khalif Rhodes, is here with us. And Khalif, explain where we are and kind of the timeline that they're really painting. I mean, they're digging into text messages, video recordings, trying to really paint a picture that Christopher Palmiter didn't know what was going on.
Two key words you said, and you took it right out of my mouth. Timeline in painting. Defense attorneys and prosecutors are often trying to paint pictures, and prosecutors for the most part are trying to build a case. Defense attorneys are trying to paint a picture, and most of the time, by law, you don't have to say anything. I mean, let's be clear. Palmiter didn't have to take the stand at all. The burden, the requirement on the state is for them to prove their case. Him and his defense team feel like at some point they needed him, as term as Palmiter, to take the stand to be able to paint that picture, to be able to defend what the state has already put out there. And so he did take the stand, and he talked about the timeline, him working long times, him being in Greensboro, him traveling a lot for work, him having text messages. One instance where he talked about an AT&T person was supposed to come to the house, and the wife responded that "we are here." His attorney asked him, well, what did you think she meant when she said "we"? He thought she meant me and Madalina. So he's laying the foundation. His attorney's painting the picture that the wife was giving him information that led him to believe that the daughter was there the entire time. Another instance he talked about where he was like, hey, I bought pizza. I want to take her a piece of pizza up into her room. The wife said, no, give me the pizza. I'll take it to her. And so at some point he's saying, if the daughter wasn't here, I didn't know it because my wife was leading me to believe that she was there. Now, as a parent of four, it's hard for me to believe that you don't see your kids. At some point, I do understand working crazy hours and, allowing them to sleep. If I come home late, I'm not waking them up, but I am going to the room to make sure they're in there, to make sure they're sleeping. Not that I don't trust my wife, but you do want to have that connection. So that's problematic. And the prosecutor hit on it. They laid him into a question and said, hey, what are some things you'd like to do with her? Well, I recognize that she likes to jump on her bed. Well, then, hey, did you recognize that she wasn't jumping on her bed? Okay, that's kind of a hole in your story. So both sides are picking apart, as you mentioned, this timeline. Timeline is extremely important. That is literally the crux of this case.
Oh, you took it right there. I was going to ask you about that moment there where you said, well, nah, I didn't hear her bouncing on the bed after I came back. Also, one thing that we heard, though, earlier in testimony from him is that this guy struggles with his memory.
He does.
How much is that going to play with what they're hearing from him? Is that, well, this guy already admits, I don't remember things very well.
Well, it really just depends on when the DA's office gets an opportunity to have an opportunity to cross-examine him and dig deeper into those questions. Because if I ask you questions and you can remember them clearly, right? And we've seen this in the Trump case with the Cohen. You can remember specific facts. But then when it's things that hurt you, my memory is kind of cloudy. I don't really remember. I can't remember precisely. Those inconsistencies, then the DA can hit them back and say, well, you can remember this crystal clear, but now you can't remember this at all. And so that will really show you if they're really good at that portion. And right now, we haven't had an opportunity to get flushed out.
We're running out of time, Khalif, but we know Madalina Cojocari has not left the country yet. Is there a possibility that she's called as a witness in this case?
I highly doubt it. I mean, because you don't need it. The information that she's already said or anything that she could add to this case has already been brought in. The text message, and if anything, it may hurt the prosecution because the alternative defense is that what they're trying to lay is that she may have taken her, that she may have moved her at some point. I mean, he said that she was very religious, very superstitious, and that he believes that she took her somewhere else. And so, yeah, you could bring her in to rebut that testimony, but as someone that's already pled guilty to the charge, spent more time in jail than I could even do for being convicted of the charge, I don't think she'd be likely to want to come and testify anyway. So I think it will be not helpful for the DA's office to do that.